I'll do my best to try to keep up, but it's good to see everyone. Jeff, good to see you as always. Jeff, gosh, you've been with me such a long time, and I really appreciate that you're still with me and we're still uh, going on our photography journey together. And as many others of you, I don't see anybody else here yet, but it's okay. If it's just the two of us, that's fine. But if you're here, just chime in on the chat section. Um, if it's your first time here, let me know that as well. I always like to meet new people. And what I like to do on Tuesdays is sort of look for deals on photography accessories like filters and batteries, tripods, bags, all the little things that help us get started on our journey. And these things just make our photography a little bit easier a lot of times, and also help us expand our photography in areas that um, might not otherwise try unless right? A lot of beginning photographers, and that's the main focus of my channel, is for people really getting started in photography, to help you find different ways to enjoy this hobby. So, I don't focus on like professional or paid work and things like that because if I was any good at it, I would be talking about it. But I do enjoy photography a lot. Oh, I'm sorry, one second. My phone is going off for some reason. Hey, Marco, good to see you. Paul, good to see you. At least two people watching. That's cool. I always have to check my messages because my mom is like 82 years old, so I don't want to miss anything. And fortunately, she lives just a few blocks away, so if there's any emergency, I can go there right away. But I did pick up a few new things this week for myself, and this one I'm kind of excited about. I've had this. This is a 4/3 lens. People always ask me about 4/3 to micro 4/3 adapters, and I found this one here, some generic one for $30 to connect 4/3 lenses to micro 4/3. And I have to give this, and I've only tried it here, right here. It hasn't even left the studio yet, but the it works. Bottom line is it works. I don't see any problems with the continuous autofocus or the single autofocus, but it does have a glitch, or uh, it's not really a glitch. It's a quality control issue, and that is there's a little bit of play in the lens mount, so it doesn't fit really tight to the camera. It's not like loosey goosey, but there is some play in it. And what I found is for this particular lens, this is a great lens. This is the 50 to 200 f2.8 to 3.5. So it's very fast, short telephoto, or medium telephoto. Is sometimes when I'm zooming this out or back in, because of this little bit of play in the body or on the adapter, uh, the pins lose contact, and the camera, the back of the screen goes blank as if the lens is not attached properly. So what I have to do is turn the camera on and off again. It's happened a few times, enough that I don't think I would recommend this particular one. But the alternative is maybe to find the OEM, right, original Olympus adapter, and of course that won't have any problems. But I just wanted to try it. I think I'll keep it though. It was only $30, unless I find an OEM for less or about the same price. The other thing is that this is it right here. It goes in between the camera and the lens. The other thing is it's made of plastic here. The mounts are metal, but it's plastic here. So, uh, you know, it's more than strong enough, I think, to hold smaller lenses. But a lens like this, I'm going to take a little more care. So I'm going to see if I can adapt this or adjust this somehow myself. because where's the release? Because really what the problem is that, and this is true for a lot of third-party stuff, is they didn't make the mount here or the teeth, I guess, the grooves thick enough so that it gets a nice, tight, secure mount to it. But it's very lightweight because it's plastic, and there's no lens in between. So, but this will be fun to play with. I got 30 days to kind of mess around with it. I'm going to see how bad it is in terms of disconnecting all the time. Maybe it only happens a few times, which I can live with, because the solution is just turn it off, turn the camera off and back on again. It just comes right back on. But somewhere in the process of moving this lens, particularly zooming in and out, it seems to be a problem. But yeah, this will be fun to play with. So I got that, and I also picked up. Uh, let's see. Let me show you this. I also picked up the a lens hood for my 60 macro. I bought this 60 macro on eBay for $315 or something, mint. And so I got a lens hood. This one takes the 40 46 millimeter, whatever the ring size is. I got the right one, I think. And also, I've been experimenting with using a extension tube. So I have a 16 millimeter extension tube with the 60 macro. In addition to that, putting a this diopter on the front. Basically, it's a magnifying glass, right? That you can just kind of snap on the front, and it gives you almost 2x magnification. Depends on how you mount it. I noticed that when I mount it on the lens hood, because it's further away, I don't get as much magnification. So I take if I'm going to use this, I'm going to take the lens hood off and attach it directly to the rings on the lens itself, and that'll give me even more magnification. I think the maximum magnification I can get with this setup, with the whatchamacallit, this diopter plus this extension tube, is about 2x magnification. And the beautiful thing about it is I don't lose any light doing it this way. Not as far as I can tell, I'm not losing any light. So the other thing I got out, I bought this a long time ago, is this little macro rail. So you can adjust it sideways and forward and back, right? So on two axes. I got it for like $10. Now it's back up to regular price at around $25. And it's pretty good actually. It's good enough. For $10, I'm not going to complain. The action of rolling this forward and backwards is not very smooth, right? And there's just enough precision here that you can kind of get away with even a 2x magnification. Uh, so, because if you get a decent macro rail, they're going to cost you over $100. And they usually only go in one direction. They're not bi-directional like this. And this makes a lot of difference, being able to just kind of move it a little bit left and a little bit right like this, and then forward and backwards. So maybe if I put a little grease on the gears, it'll be a little smoother. But it's good enough. It's good enough for the little bit that I'm doing. And if I get really serious about it, I might consider investing into a more professional setup, right? A little higher quality setup. The other thing is, I don't have like that AK diffuser, so I just use this. This is good enough. The key thing to diffusers is you need to get the light past the front of the lens. And while this doesn't quite accomplish it, as you can see, this gets it right up to the lens. But ideally, you want the diffuser to kind of go over the lens a little bit and point the light down. This gets enough light onto the subject for what I'm doing for now, but eventually I'm going to have to think of another solution. I have another diffuser that does go all the way out, and that works pretty well. I've also tried this one. Give me a second. I've recommended this one in the past, and this works great because it's so portable, right? You just take it out and it flips out like this, and you put this on the front, and this one has the elastic, so it holds a lot better. But you can put this on the front instead of using this thing, you can use this thing. So if I take this off, right, and this is like either one is about 10 or $15. This one does sort of the same thing. So this has two advantages. One is it is more compact and easier to carry with you and easy to use. The other thing is the catch light in the if you're doing bugs, like the catch light in the eyes and the reflections are going to be nice and round, which I think is more desirable for bug photos. Whereas, obviously this one you're going to get a square catch light, so it's just a preference. The disadvantage to this one over, say, this kind of diffuser is uh, half the light from your flash is going to be bounced back. So you're losing half the power of the light output because it's not concentrating the light. This one here, uh, you don't have that light loss, right? Because inside is shiny, right? It's like this foil. So any light that bounces back off the diffuser gets reflected back through the front diffuser. So you can use less power on your flash, and thereby uh, your batteries will last longer. You'll get better focus stacking results when you're doing repeated flashes. So between the two, uh, if they're the same price, give or take, I think this may be the better choice. But I don't think you can go wrong either way. I like this rounder one because of the catch lights that I get in the eyes. This one I like a little better because I can use less power on the flash, a lower flash power output. And when you're focus stacking or bracketing, your flash has to repeatedly fire, and you really can't set the flash power too high. If you're using like uh, cheap flashes like I do, if you have a good flash with lithium ion batteries and all of that, it's less of an issue. But if you're using a flash that has AA batteries like the TT350 or the T600s, all of those, or any cheap flash. I bought a TT600 for like 30 bucks used. And that's what I was using for my macro work. I was practicing here at home. And you can't set your flash power much higher than, say, 1/32nd power if you're going to be using it outdoors and you're bracketing handheld. If you're on a tripod, then I found I can set the flash power to about 1/4, and with a 2-second delay between each flash, because I'm not worrying about, I'm talking about still life. If it's not moving, you can get up to about a quarter power with this. With this diffuser, you can set your flash power down to about 1/8, and uh, ultimately what that means is that this is more suitable outdoors, if you're going to be doing flash bracketing or focus bracketing handheld. If you're on a tripod and it's still life, it doesn't matter. Either one will do the job. Okay, so uh, I do have these on my deal page. It's 40 bucks and it comes with two adapters so that this just pinches onto the front like this. Just squeeze this and pinch it onto the ring mount on the front of your lens. This gives you about 2x magnification. It works great with the 40 to 150 kit lens. So I may do a video on using this. I think, hey, I see Roberto's here. How you doing? I think that uh, Roberto, you did a video on this thing, right? So you can check that out. One that Roberto did on his channel for, I think it was this one. But I'll try and get do something with more of a sort of a more complete, you know, setup and what you can do very inexpensively because a lot of you already have the 40 to 150 kit lens, which is like $130, give or take, up to 200 at full price. You can get these things for about $10 and this for $40. So for 50 bucks, you can get pretty decent macro and close-up photography, nearly 1 to 1, I believe. I'll have to measure it. Okay, so I see Marco's here and Paul and Steve. Good to see you guys. Robin, good to see you. Roberto, of course. And Robin says, uh, put a small rubber band around the bayonet between the lens and the adapter to tighten it up. Good rubber band. Oh, that's a great idea. That's interesting. So I just have to find one the right size. And yeah, I'll have to look into that. I may have a good rubber band already that I can use that would fit. Hmm. Oh, thanks for that tip. That's great. ATR Bear, good to see you. And yes, it really works just like a macro lens. Yeah, and the quality is excellent. This one is excellent. I've tried other diopters, that you can buy for like $15, and they're crap. They get really soft in the corners and not in a pleasant way. And even when you crop in, you can see the deterioration of the quality even after you crop in a little. So I don't recommend this, but I'll show you a quick image that I did with this setup just for practice. Um, why is why is my screen not coming up? Ah, this is weird. Okay, I got the right. This might explain why my chat window's not working. I'm sorry. One second. Technical difficulties here. Uh, Let me see if I can reset my loop deck. Unplug this. I'm sorry. Give me a second. This might be the problem. How about this? No. Oh, that's unplugged. That's all right. Wow, I don't get this. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go blank for a minute here. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm still here, but it's always some technical issues, right? So I'm gonna restart. If we lose this live stream, I'll restart it on a different. You may have to go back to my channel and find me again. Let me end this. Okay. Oh, I don't know. I can't get the all right. So this is working at least. All right. I can't get the chat to work though. I don't know why. I don't know why the chat's not working, but I can read it on another screen here, but it was much nicer when it was just kind of right here. Okay. What about yeah, so this works. Okay, so we're gonna start over. I'm gonna go back to uh so this is with the diopter, the extension tube, the 60 macro. This is a ballpoint pen. Um, it's really cool because you can kind of see like the ink kind of smearing, the little shavings of metal around the front of the ball head, and then of course all of the little things. Here's another shot. This one didn't come out too well. This is a single high res shot, and I'm not too happy with this one. I can see a tiny bit more detail, but it's still a little bit soft, so I'm gonna have to experiment with the high res shot mode in these different configurations. And then this is a focus stacked image in camera. So I edited this as a JPEG. This was the best one of all the ones I did. So I'm pretty happy with this one. Uh, and this is on my Flickr page as well, if you want to kind of pixel peep it a little bit, but this came out pretty good. So that's what I was experimenting with. All that I just been talking about led up to this. This is the actual pen that I used. It's just a standard ballpoint pen. I don't know if it's going to focus on that, but that's what I used. Okay. Eric says, about to sign on a single family home in Stafford. Can't wait. My drive to Maryland will suck, but going home will always be sublime. Wow, that's a hike. But congratulations, man, on a new house in Stafford. But that is a hike. Hopefully you got a deal. Man, I remember when Stafford used to be the sticks, but it's pretty well developed now. I mean, it's a full-on suburban, metropolis. I mean, there's not like tall buildings and things. It's a few office buildings, but uh, they got everything down there now. But then it's still kind of spread out. But traffic, oh my God, you're gonna have to go up 95. Good luck. But yeah, I think once you're there on the weekends and evenings, you can enjoy some beautiful, quiet, peaceful type environment, right, for your family. I think that's great. Congratulations. My electron microscope. You're funny. I'm not going to get carried away with macro. I just uh, I just got this macro lens, and I wanted to try to use it as much as I can. I mean, after 9 years, I've never bought that lens, a macro lens. I had one for my Nikon, but I didn't really use it much for macro. I use it mostly as just a standard 60 millimeter lens. Um, oh, you like doing your coin collection in macro and banknotes have some. Oh, that's interesting. Yep. And Eric says, I'll charge the Easy Pass Express lanes daily. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like $10 to $20, man. From Stafford up to the Beltway, depending on the time of day, right? It can go from like $5 up to like $20. Man, that's insane. I mean, I I do it once in a blue moon. If I'm really running late on something, I'll do it. Otherwise, I will go full circle around the Beltway before I pay a frickin' toll. Anyhow, so let's look at some deals. There's a lot of deals today, actually. So let me open up my deal page, and there's links down below to a lot of this stuff. So some interesting things. $13 for a little air blower, and it comes with attachments like a brush and an edge thing. This is a nice little thing to keep in your bag and keep things kind of clean, or just use it in your on your desk, for your keyboard and computer. Uh, it's not very powerful when it's something this size. What are they saying? 4K PA. But good enough. Good enough for most things. And if we go to, there's a lot of different filters on sale in various sizes. These are all decent, okay? And at a really good price. So it depends on what you need. If you need an ND filter, uh, the variable ND, the true color variable ND here, this is a good deal. And let me make this larger. $21. And I forget what size was this. This was in the 49 millimeter. So that's good for some of the lenses. The smaller lenses we have. Most of our primes are 46. Let me take a quick look. Um, Gosh, off the top of my head, I can't remember. Where's my filter page? So, okay, so yeah, all of the Micro Four Thirds stuff, most of that is 46 millimeters. Some of the Sony and Pentax stuff is 49. The old OM Zuiko lenses, like the 50 millimeter f1.8, but you wouldn't use a filter on something like that normally. Yeah, it's not a, it's not a particularly uh, common size for most of us, I think. But if you do need 49 millimeters, this is good, and both of these are good. This one here is a true color CPL and polarizer built into one for $9 more. Or if you don't care about the polarizer, you can just get this one. They're both the 49 millimeter. This one's the 62 millimeter. Of course, this is great for our 12 to 40 Pro lens. And this is a kit, CPL and UV. So you can throw away the UV filter. But getting a CPL filter for $12.50, that's a good deal. To me, this is the best deal. You get the CPL filter, throw that away, get the ND filter. This is an ND8 and ND64 and a circular polarizer. Oh, so they're not even including you, so you don't have to throw away UV filter. And you get the case. The case alone is worth like $10. Well, let's say $7. Uh, and it's a 58 millimeter filter thread, so this is great for the 12 to 45 f4 Pro and the 40 to 150 kit lens and a bunch of other lenses in Micro Four Thirds. So really, really good size. And if you have step rings, you can adapt it to your 12 to 45 and your 75 1.8. A bunch of other lenses you can adapt up to 62, or you can step it down to the 46 millimeter. So 58, I think, is ideal though, because typically you would use this on your kit lens, the 12 to 45 f4 Pro lens, like that came with the OM3. And you get the ND8, ND64, and the polarizer. So this is a killer deal, and the case. And the case, this is this to me is a no-brainer. I think if I had the uh 12 to 45 Pro, I would definitely get this, but I need to get the 62 millimeter version because I have the 12 to 40 f2.8, which I got magnetic ones for that one. Um, okay, this is cool. If you need this, you know you need it. This for mounting monitors on top of your camera, hot shoe. So here's the diffuser. You get a 3-pack in different sizes for $34. And so this is a lot cheaper than the AK diffusers and other things. And this is a great way to start. Um, if you want to get into macro, don't use it for like portrait photography and things like that. It's not big enough. It won't make that much difference. It's more hassle than it's worth. But I think for doing macro, like your flowers or close-up photography, where you're not, 2 inches away from the subject, if you have some distance, like a foot or so, it's perfect for flower photography and other types of close-up work, still life. This is a great little pack. And this is for the Nikon, like Z50, Z30, Z6, Z7 too. Uh, 13.99. I'm thinking about getting this, even though I don't have any of these cameras. I know one day I will. I've been looking at the Z7 Mark II. I'm seeing those for about 1,400 right now. But this is a really, really useful device, right? A remote shutter, wireless remote shutter at that for 13.99. So if you have the Z50 or the Z6, Z7, etc., anything that uses the Nikon ML-L7, then this is a steal. I have this for my Sony camera, this exact brand, and it works great. So I don't have any problems with this brand. And at this price, I paid $26 for mine. So getting this for 13.99 is a deal. And I like that it's a white color. It's easy to find. I can't tell you, it's hard to find a little black remote, inside of a bag sometimes. Uh, and then I think it was the great Vanzini was asking about the gimbal. I recommended the Weeble. It's on sale now for 198, so this is a good deal, and this is a decent gimbal. Um, this is not the exact one that I have. I have a I forget what brand it is. I just get whatever's cheap, and sometimes somebody gave me one as a gift. My nephew got me one as a gift, but I've had the Jian or Jun gimbal was one of my first gimbals that I ever bought. Like, gosh, it's probably been 8 years now, and it still works great. But now they're much more compact and have more features. You can pair these with your phone and do all kinds of stuff. But I think Great Vanzini, you bought a Z50 and you have a Z30, and you wanted to get a gimbal for these cameras. This is an excellent gimbal. Uh, and while you're at it, you might as well pick up this remote, right? And there's a bunch of batteries here on sale. So this is for these are USB. You can charge these batteries directly. This is for the Fujifilm system. So like XT3, the NPW126. A lot of the older Fuji cameras take this, and even the new one, like the XT50, uses these batteries. So don't always have OEM batteries, at least two. So you have one that came with the camera, and one you should buy a second one. I would use these just as backups because they don't last as long typically, and a lot of times they're not coded properly, so that when you put them in your camera, you get a warning that it's not going to work. But the biggest problem I found is they die pretty quickly, and you don't, meaning when the battery starts to get low, you don't get much warning. The camera just shuts off because a lot of times, because they're not coded properly, you don't see how many bars are left or what the percentage is left on these batteries. I don't know specifically for this one. They may work just fine. I have many generic batteries that do show the percentage in some of my older cameras, but it seems like the newer cameras, they are really sort of encrypting these batteries so that when you use a generic battery, you lose the ability to detect the battery life left in it, and so you don't get any warning when they're about to die. This is an interesting charger. This will charge three different kinds of Sony batteries all in one. So this is a nice solution for you don't have to carry three different chargers if you got different Sony cameras. So a lot of people they'll bring like their say their A7R4 or 5, and then they'll also bring their older A6500 or 6400, which uses the smaller batteries. This is a very, very common combination in FZ100s and FW50s for Sony users. So now you can have one charger that does them both. So you can charge like your FC100 on one side and your FW50 on the other side so that you can have both cameras going at all times. And $14. It doesn't include any batteries, it's just a charger. And the charger has a Bluetooth connection so that you can monitor the charging as well. Here's some Canon batteries for mostly their older DSLRs, T7, T6, and some of the other DSLRs, and it comes with two batteries. So this they're just trying to get rid of these. But again, finding OEM batteries on these older cameras, they can be kind of expensive. And these older cameras usually they will show the battery percentage and all of that because they haven't been coded, or encrypted so much. $12.50 to get the charger and two batteries, and it's a dual charger at that. So this is a good deal. USB-C. And then this is for the older mirrorless cameras from Canon. Uh, this is a great charger too. It charges very quickly. So it's a high-speed charger. So it's going to charge twice as fast if you have some of the older Canon mirrorless cameras. And it comes with two batteries for $36. And I love that it has a closing lid case, so it's easy to travel with. You don't have to worry about your batteries touching and exploding. You can kind of keep them in here safe. And it'll charge your OEM batteries just as well. So this is a really, really good deal because this is normally $72. Um, this is an interesting lens. This is for the Nikon Z, and it is a full frame lens, but of course you can use this on APS-C as a portrait lens. But a 50 millimeter f1.7 manual focus for Nikon Z, $50. And the reviews are pretty solid on this. It looks to be very sharp, of course, bright enough. If we look at this sample, the bokeh is a little bit busy, but it's not terrible, right? Just tiny bit of soap bubble, which is causing the little bit of busyness. As you can see, like in the grass, like when you do grass, this is when you can kind of notice the difference in bokeh or the out of focus areas, how busy it is. And but for $50, I don't see any reason if you wanted to experiment, and it's not a huge lens, it's relatively small. So I don't see why not. All metal build, so this guy's saying that it's kind of heavy, but this the kind of so I recommend getting lenses like this instead of like buying an old vintage lens a lot of times because they're going to cost this or more for a vintage lens that's any good. They have to be in premium condition, but a lot of times, they might have scratches or dust inside the lens or mold. So this is a great alternative to get a brand new lens that will still give you sort of that vintage flavor. As you can see in the out of focus areas are a little bit busy, which is very typical of the older lenses as well. And of course, there's a couple of bags in here, $15 and $10. These look decent, you know. These are the kind of bags you use for a couple of years, and when they wear out, you throw them away and get another one. Uh, or I like to use them sometimes inside of another bag, like a backpack, so that when I go out, if I don't want to carry the whole backpack, I can just take this out and the lenses and everything already in it, right? So I use them as a bag insert sometimes instead of just as a shoulder bag. And here's the OM5 and EM5 Mark III leather case. If you want a half leather case, I bought this brand for a couple of my cameras. Very good quality, and it's kind of a nice gives your camera a nice little kind of vintage flair, a little bit of protection on the base, and it's real leather, so you can't beat that. Uh, and then this is another item that if you need it, you need it. These magic arms. This is a good deal, 30 bucks for a Leo photo. These are very high quality. This is also this leveling base. This is kind of big at 75 millimeters, so you need a pretty decent sized tripod. Uh, but if you have a higher end or bigger tripod, this is a good deal for a leveling base from Leo Photo. Again, very good brand. And these leveling bases, a lot of people think of for video, but I think of it for landscape. These are these are critical, or what's the word I'm looking for? You have to get this if you want to do any kind of landscape, and especially if you're doing panoramas. These are critical or essential to doing that and make your life a lot easier. You get much cleaner stitching, and just makes everything a lot easier in post processing when you have one of these. And in the field of trying to keep your camera level as you're panning left and right and up and down. And then I talked about a lot of this stuff in the last week's stream. This is the bag insert. These are really useful for putting inside your own backpack. If you don't want to buy a camera backpack, you can just get one of these and put it in your existing backpack. Uh, and a lot of times for a Micro Four Thirds gear, it's a lot smaller, and a lot of these backpacks are just made for full frame systems. So our gear just kind of flops around inside. So I use these inside my backpacks now for my Micro Four Thirds gear, and I can fit a lot more stuff, and it's a lot safer or better protected when it's inside the backpack. Even though it's a photography backpack, I still need these. This is just a fun little gift, or to yourself or to someone else. It's $33 now. It was $42 last week, even on sale. And I found one for $33. So this is kind of a cool little thing just for fun. Don't take any serious pictures with it, but it'd be fun at parties and whatever. These backpacks, these are all decent. A lot of these lenses are still 30% off. So if I click on this lens, for example, they have this for Micro Four Thirds. Oh, this one is 20% off. So you have to click on it to see the discount. And typically, what I would do, let's try this one. This one's 30%. So I click on this, and this is for Micro Four Thirds. So you're going to save 3 times 12, $36. So you're going to get this lens for like $89. And what you do is you just go to this page and you add it to your cart from here. They even have, yeah, they have a lot of the lenses. So it depends on what lens you click on. Sometimes it's 20%, sometimes it's 30%. But yeah, I'm surprised these are still on sale, but they are. So that's pretty good. The 128s are out of stock now, so but just get the 256 is now 50 bucks. This was 40. So this has gone up in price. This was $40 last week. Now it's 50. So this is not as good a deal as it was. Maybe wait until they go on sale. But looks like, oh, it's because they're out of stock. Delivery's not until May 12th, and this one's completely out. Who knows with the tariffs and everything that have started up, maybe when they restock these, they'll be even higher price. I don't know. Time will tell. And all down in here is all my usual stuff. The 100 to 400, the 150 to 600. These are good deals. This is the first version, version one. The 75 to 300, all of these are great wildlife lenses. So depending on your budget, you get one of those three. You don't really need two. Just pick one out of these three and forget about the other two. So if you get the 75 to 300, I don't think you need to bother with either of these two. Uh, Now I get it. This has twice the reach. This has 20, 30% more reach. But ultimately, I would say if you have the 75 to 300, if you start there, save up and get the 300 f4 or the 150 to 400. Now, if you don't think you're ever going to get one of those $3,000 to $7,000 lenses, I'd probably get the 100 to 400 to start. But this 75 to 300 is a great bridge to keep you going, if not indefinitely, but to keep you going until you buy one of the high-end pro lenses. But if you don't think you're ever going to do that, you can start with this one, the 100 to 400, and that'll work great forever. Same thing with the 150 to 600. Just keep in mind that's a beast of a lens. It's heavy, and you're going to need to get monopod and a gimbal like I have up in here. Where do I have those? Maybe it's further down. Yeah, I recommend this monopod and this gimbal. If you get those two together with that 150 to 600, you're gonna be in good shape. So, and these backpacks, these are good deals. If you just need a cheap backpack to get you started, these will last you a couple of years at least. And if I think the canvas ones may last a little longer than these vinyl ones that are at this price range. Because they're going to use very thin vinyl, and it's not going to be quite as durable as the high-end backpacks like the one I reviewed last week. But canvas material generally, you know, those seem to last a little longer and look better longer. Throw them in the washer when they get dirty. $40. And this is a decent brand, Mosisu. This is a decent brand for backpacks, and it's not too big that uh a Micro Four Thirds gear is going to fit in here okay, but you still may want to get some additional dividers, either a camera insert like I showed earlier, or over here I have a page, little things that help. I think it's in here. I have some dividers, something like this. You just buy a set of dividers, right? So camera bag case insert partition divider separate. So it's basically just the dividers. You don't get the bag itself. You get these four dividers. But I think just getting the bag, like I showed earlier, the case insert, that's the same price, but you get the dividers and the case. That's a little better deal. Here's the snap-on macro lens I talked about. Uh, yeah, you get two adapters here. So this will fit 37 to 52 millimeters. So if you have the 60 macro, the 40 to 150, I'm sorry, not the 40 to 150 kit lens. The 40 to 150 kit lens, you need to use this 55 to 72, but you can also put this on like your 12 to 40 Pro, all the different this will fit just about every single lens in Micro Four Thirds, and as well as many other camera systems because they're including both adapters. Now you will get some vignetting potentially, uh, because you're basically stepping the ring down. It's basically a step down ring, an adjustable step down ring. So keep that in mind. You may not get the full field of view at the wider focal lengths. Like if you're trying to do macro with a 12 millimeter, uh, it's probably not ideal. You really need to be at about 40, 60, 75. You need to be at the much longer focal lengths, typically with macro anyway. So vignetting should not be a problem. but at the wider angles, it could be. So just keep that in mind. But I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, and then this is the cheapest set of step rings I could find. If you want to just buy some step rings for all the different filters that you have, and if you do any kind of photography, ND filters, circular polarizers, these are essential items. The black mist filters are getting popular now, and I like the special effect filters sometimes, like starburst and streaks and those kind of things. I kind of like too. But step rings are very, very handy, and I just keep 2 or 3 step rings together with the in the filter case. Uh, I keep them inside the filter case, the ones that might need, and just always bring with me. And this is a very similar case to the one that was on the filter deal that I showed earlier. But okay, so let me go back to the chat and see what you guys are up to. Any questions? So Bob says, I'm interested in the Zuiko 75 1.8, but even at used prices, too high for a retired guy. I understand OM systems are made in Vietnam. Will prices ever come down? That lens I rarely see come down. The cheapest I've seen it really is around 500 bucks. But let me just take a quick look. Yeah, brand new, it's on sale for 660. Um, there's one here for 660. Let's see who's selling it. Ooh, this may not have a warranty though. I don't know who D Universe is, but if we search it this way, there's one at MPB has one, and eBay's at 420, 399 at B&H. Oh no, that's the 60 macro. Oh, that's a good deal. But anyhow, you could try MPB. This got a couple scratches in it. Let's. I'm not on the lens element, but there's a silver one with a hood, 469. Yeah, so we're back up to 500 bucks to get one like new. I think that's the best you're going to be able to do, Bob. Uh, but I do want to go back to this deal. Is this still on sale? Because I paid used. I paid 315, but you can get brand new warranty and all. So yeah, if you don't have, I'm probably the last person to buy this lens. I'm sure everybody here has one of these. But I'm going to put my affiliate link for B&H uh, in there. So if you buy it, I might earn a commission. I don't know. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And let's see. Oh, any pro mist filters? I didn't look for pro mist filters because that's kind of a niche filter. But let me take a quick look for you. Uh, there's a couple of brands. I'm fine with Newer or Newer. Well, it's pronounced Newer, but Newer, Green L, and of course K&F. These three brands are pretty affordable, and the quality is decent for the money. And I would recommend the quarter and the black mist 1/4. So let's see. $15. I guess it depends on what size you need. You get a 1/4 and 1/8. The black diffusion. The black diffusion quarter mist. That's a good one. But man, 24.50. The K&F, this is their all-in-one filter. The magnetic type, that's pretty cool. Let me go one more page. This might be it. It's something like this from newer. This is the black mist. Oh, that's a tiny one. 49. K&F. K&F is really good. Let me see. Let's see if they have this in, if it's on sale in different. So it's on sale pretty much across all the different sizes. Side, I could recommend this one. I know this is a very, very good filter. Um, so let me give you my affiliate link for that one. And then if you're on a little tighter budget, I don't know. I don't know if I would get the newer. I would rather get the K&F for a few dollars more. But here's the Pro Mist K&F. And let me go back to page one. Yeah, it's these guys. This has a 20% coupon. This is the 1/8 though. I don't recommend the 1/8 unless you need a 1/8, but I think the 1/4 is better. The 1/8 you can hardly see any difference. At least with the 1/4 you can see some difference, but it's very, very minor. So there's only a 10% coupon on this. Let me give you the code for that one. So there's that one. Uh, Now I just want to double check and make sure. Yeah, the black Pro Mist. Yep. Okay. All right. So those are the two. Uh, I I would lean towards the K&F brand though. If you don't mind spending, looks like it's going to be about $5 more. It's the better filter of the two. Oh, cool. Yeah, 449, right? So with tax, it's like $50. But yeah, hey, that's a great lens though, definitely. And Peter says, I have the Sure Travel Tripod AM225 Plus book. Would the Benro 3 weight be too large? Let me look at that tripod. I'm not that familiar with it. AM225. Yeah. So this tripod, this head is way too small. Let me see. Which head is this? With the B00, yeah. I say that because I have is it in it's in the car. I have a different version of Surae, but with the same ball head, and it's only about this big around, right? It's not that big. And my gear head, I think, yeah, that's I think that's out in the car too. Uh, yeah, it's too big. Let me see, where's my gear head? It's not there. Yeah, my gear head is in the car, I believe. It better be in the car. So yeah, you're gonna have to get a bigger tripod. What you want to look for is the base, right? So Benro, I forget the exact measurement. I'm just gonna look real quick. See if they tell you here. No, they don't tell you the base. They say it here. No, I don't know what the specs are exactly, but I would say that you want to get a base of at least, I mean, you want to be at least 50 millimeters. 60 millimeters would be ideal to use that ball head. So when you're looking at tripods, uh, for example, like I like this tripod, but anyhow, they will tell you the base somewhere. They usually do. Ugh, it's frustrating. How about this one? This is a decent tripod for the money. Newer, the LTO7 with the so 8.5 centimeter. That's the height. Ugh. Every time I'm looking for something, I can never give you a good example. Let me go back to my deal page. Like when I was talking about this base, right? They will tell you the diameter of the base. It's kind of implied it's a 68 millimeter, but that's kind of weird. Yeah, this is a 60 millimeter diameter base. That's pretty big. But if you get a tripod with a 60 millimeter base, you're gonna be able to adapt. That's kind of a standard size. You can adapt a lot of different ball heads and accessories, and it's gonna be very, very heavy duty, and it's great for landscape work or anything else you might be doing. But I would get at least 45, 50 millimeter base, and you have to do a little work sometimes to kind of figure out what it is on a tripod if you're buying a tripod directly. But yeah, the short answer is the Benro is going to be too big. Okay, and then DxO Nick comes out today. A few things introduced. Yeah, I saw that. I I might do something this Friday and talk about all of them. The Nick 8, I guess it's the 30-year celebration or whatever. They introduced a lot of improvements in the workflow, and that's primarily where the improvements are, which is a big deal, right? Workflow is always very important. Sometimes that's the most important thing is your photo editing workflow. And Nick collection, but everything else it does is pretty much the same, right? It can have the same filters, same tools. There is some better masking or workflow for the masking where you can go between Photoshop and Nick collection and vice versa. So there's a lot of workflow improvements and then some other things. But for the most part, the final image quality or results and filters and creative choices that you have are the same. So if you already have Nick Collection 7, if you're a casual user, I think Nick 7 is fine. You don't really need to get Nick 8. But if you're a heavy user, Nick 8 will really make a big difference in your workflow, and you're really going to like the improvements that they made. So I would say that would be my advice there for my initial impressions. I haven't played with it yet. I just installed it. But uh, the demonstration that I saw during the pre-launch was there was a ton of improvements in the workflow that will make things a lot smoother, especially if you work with Photoshop. But overall, you can use the product standalone. And of course, I have my affiliate link down below for DxO products with a coupon code. I don't know if the coupon code will work with it or not. It might. But I have a coupon code for 15% off DxO products, as well as a link to DxO. So if you're here and you're interested in the product and you're going to buy it or want to buy it later, you can download a free trial and then click on the link again because cookies get messed up. I rarely get the credit for the some, because people tell me they use my link and then I never see the purchase in my commissions. But typically, you have to try to use these cookies within 30 days, or the last person to get the cookie right gets the commission. So sometimes I lose out because you guys are looking around and the cookie gets replaced somehow, especially with these coupon things. But anyhow, let's see. And good morning, this side towards screen. Roger, good to see you. Good morning. And Mike, I know you just said you got the 75, but I didn't say good morning. So good morning, Mike. Good to see you. And don't forget thumbs up, support Rob. It's only nine. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that, Jeff. Yeah, memberships or just using my affiliate links. All of that is good stuff. It helps me out every little bit. I really need it this month too, man. Oh my God. I had the trees last month, just drained me. I can't. I just man, my bank account is bone dry. Oh, I gotta wait until I get paid like from Google and all these affiliate people at the end of the month. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of lean for the next couple of weeks. Okay, ZD says I just bought the TT350S flash for macro for $50. Do you think I made a good choice? And I was looking for a small diffuser. Okay, so yeah, TT350 is great for macro work, but the the recycle times are a little slow on that flash. So always have fresh batteries in there or lithium ion batteries. Uh, the rechargeable lithium ions are really good, although the recycle times are slower on the lithium ions for different reasons. But make sure you have envelopes Those are the best. Uh, NiCad type batteries, the lithium ions, I have a few on my deal page. That's key, okay, to for the TT350. Number two, uh, you really cannot fire any more power than 1/32nd power when you're doing bracketing of any kind, like focus bracketing or focus stacking. So that's the other thing, because if you try to use 1/16th, you're going to get a lot of misfires unless you put in like a 2-second delay or something. But generally, 1/32nd power with fresh batteries. And as your batteries drain, you might have to go down to 1/64th, 1/128th, and crank up your ISO. Especially if you're working with handheld and anything that's moving like a bug potentially. So those that's my advice in terms of workflow is at 1/32nd power or lower. Use the lowest pop power you can. Anything higher, you're going to start to get misfires in the focus bracketing arena. Now for single shot, right, just close up macro, you're fine. You use whatever power you need. And as far as diffusers go, the flash head is so small, even diffusers like this, uh, let me see how this fits. Where's my TT350? It was right there. Oh, here it is. Okay. So let's see how this one fits. Yeah, it's tight. It works though. I'm not sure which camera you have, but let's see. I'll show you how it looks on this one. So it's fine. This kind of works. You want it to tilt down, and if you're using an extension tube, this is about the same size as the 40 to 150 kit lens, and you would need something like this. This would work, but you're going to get a little shadow if the subject is too close, right? If But this could work. This will bend the light just enough. I guess, oops. So this is not bad. The other one is, of course, the other diffuser that I showed you with the caveats that, half the light is going to get bounced back. So you're going to have to probably crank your ISO a little bit and use a lower power. Uh, but yeah, this is pretty good. But with this diffuser, right, this can get the light past the front of the lens. You just have to kind of hold it down here like this when you're shooting so that it'll bend the light forward. There's also, I don't like them too much, but there's also those diffusers that point straight up and kind of bend. They're like the flash benders, they call them. There's some generic ones that you can get cheap. You could try those as well, but I don't like those because most of the light is going forward and not down. So they're generally not very good. I would avoid those. This is better. I like this one because of the catch lights, like I talked about earlier. I like this one because more of the flash power goes onto the subject or goes in front of the camera. So, but the problem is it doesn't get the light in front of the lens as well. So you can't shoot things that are like this close to the lens. They're not going to get much light. The lens itself is going to cast a shadow. You can shoot things that are kind of this far out with this. Okay. Uh, Hopefully that answered your question. But yeah, it's a good choice. I use it all the time, like for flower photography, where I'm not trying to get too close. Uh, it's great for focus stacking flowers. And I hope Well, twice, once on the phone. Oh, thanks. Let's not get carried away. I appreciate the likes and stuff, but uh, and yeah, the website was down this morning when I went to purchase DxO Photo Lab. Wow. Yeah, there's a big push because the launch was like 9 a.m., right? And you guys know me. I'm like the last one to talk about launches and things. Uh, so everybody else has already bought it already, and I get no commissions because nobody needs to buy it anymore. But I tell people, don't buy it right away. Download the free trial and try it and see if you like it. Watch my weekly live streams where I do the editing live, like for Photolab. This week, though, I think I'm going to do it with Nick Collection. So I'm going to do a live with Nick Collection 8, Pure Raw 5, and DxO Photolab 8.5. And the question is which one would be best to get, right? Depending on your workflow, you may want just Pure Raw 5. Or maybe Nick Collection 8 is fine. You don't care about noise reduction as much. And you're using Lightroom's noise reduction or whatever other software is Topaz. You have Topaz, right? Uh, Meaning you're happy with your current noise reduction workflow, but you just want to add Nick Collection, right? So there's lots of, they have a lot of choices, and it can be hard from somebody looking at DxO because DxO does not really organize their products in a way that I think would make sense for people first looking at them, right? For me, all their products make sense, why they compartmentalize things different ways. But the most common question I get is like, you know, do I need to get Pure Raw 5 if I have Photolab? No, you don't. If you have Photolab Elite, it already includes all the denoising. And vice versa, if you have Photolab 8, do you need to get Pure Raw 5? If you have Pure Raw 5, do you need to get Photolab 8? What does Nick Collection do other than a few art filters? It does a lot of things, actually. It has a really good sharpening thing. It has a very good non-destructive noise reduction. Uh, it doesn't use AI, so to speak. It does some other sort of more direct approach to noise reduction. So you will lose detail in some cases, but you'll save detail in other situations. And then there's the HDR in Nick Collection, which is, I think, the best in the business. And so the Nick Collection 8 with the improvement in the workflow is the biggest deal. But if you're happy with Nick 7 and you don't care about the workflow, you're a casual user, I don't see any reason to get Nick 8 at this point. But I'm going to play with it over the next couple of days. I got to get some reviews out too. God, these vendors, I got to stop taking products for review. I feel bad, but at the same time, uh, I can't help myself. It's a combination of gas and because getting a free lens or free whatever, right, is part of it. But then if it's not Micro Four Thirds, anyway, I gotta knock these out. Like I love doing the camera bag reviews I did. Those are great. Those were great bags. A little expensive, but they were really good. And I got a memory card. I have a lens I got to do for Sony. What's the other thing? Oh, and a light. The light, the light's going to be tough. I use lighting is so important. That's why I got the review for the light because I wanted to do uh I want to do a little more than just a review of the light. I want to do some tutorials with it. So that's why I took it. But yeah, anyhow, yes, if you got Photoshop, it leans into that. Yes. And Friday would be a good day. It's very powerful and a bit of a learning curve, a little bit. even for me, because I don't use it that much. I'm kind of a casual user of Nick. I like the HDR that it has. I like the art, the camera vintage, whatever. I forget what it's called. Uh, but there's really two modules that I use in it a lot, and I've tried a couple of the other modules, and they're very niche for me. I would only use them in a very rare situation where I was being particularly critical about a particular image. I might use these other tools, but I don't have a use case to use them on a regular basis. And Fuji Michael says, I have the Comlight 4/3 adapter, works well with 35 macro and the 14 to 42 kit lens, but there is a glitch with the 40 to 150. Like I have to switch the camera off and on sometimes. Yeah, it's weird, right? Uh, I have to try I've only tried it with this lens, and I assumed it was because of that little play that's in the thing. I forget what brand this is. Let me look it up real quick, which one I bought exactly. This is the one that I bought. Photo 4 Easy. But you're saying you have a com light, right? Ooh, that's not bad. That looks like it's all metal too. Oh, that's for Canon. Hold on. So I don't see it here for micro. Yeah, I don't see it. But based on the one for Canon, see, do they have a? No, they don't have a thing. That looks pretty nice. And if we search for, see, Velo has one for 80, 120, 175 for the. See, this is what I mean. The original adapter is really expensive. Um, Here's one from Earth. This is, oh no, that's a lens adapter, not. Yeah, these OEM ones are really expensive. So that's why I tried this one. Oh, they have it for $27 here. I could have saved $2. I could have got it from this one. Uh, because it's the same exact one. Heck, I might have to do a swap and save $2, like return the one I paid $30 for and get this one for 28. Okay, interesting. Nick Analog is amazing for, yeah, it is. It is really good. It is yeah, I like the analog effects. That's the module. Analog effects and HDR. These two I use a lot. Or let me rephrase. I use them time to time. I don't do a lot of HDR or analog effects in general. I just like a clean, you know, reproduction of the scene. But when I'm feeling creative or do bracketing with HDR, exposure bracketing, Nick Collection is my go-to. So your reviews are very oh, thanks. I try. I try. Yes, all metal. Yeah. How much did you pay for it? I mean, that one was like 57 and it was on sale for 43, but I don't know what the Micro Four Thirds one is. Okay, I'm just trying to see if there's any questions that I missed. Okay, I don't think so. Um, I think I got all of them. Okay, good. 65. So that's pretty reasonable. If you're having the same Like B&H probably has it, right? MT. Oh, they have a used one. There's a used one here. F micro four thirds to micro four thirds. $47 new. Oh heck, maybe the reviews are generally okay. Heck, maybe I'll just get that and return the one that I bought and get a nice metal one. Even if the even if it has the same issue, it might be. Sorry, I'm just okay. I'll let me just add this to my cart real quick. I have to give that some thought. Okay. Of course, you guys are welcome to buy it if you're interested in it. If you get it before I do, it's okay. I won't be upset. All right. Uh, was on sale in Sweden. So yeah, so pricing's different overseas, right? And there's some more feedback. It works well with the 9, did not work well with the 918. Horrible blur in the corner, so I use the lens with the old E420. Hmm. It's weird though, right? Why? Well, I guess there has to be a chip in there to translate four thirds technology to micro four thirds, whatever the algorithm is, because they're going to be different, right? Different lens mount systems. But if I can get a, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth the hassle of returning this and then buying that one to get a metal one. But in the long run, I might be okay. But if you're having problems with that one, it might be better just to, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I have to think about it because the only reason I would get this adapter is because I want to use this lens, this 50 to 200, 2.8 to 3.5. Man, this is a beautiful lens, and it's really sharp. The few images I took of my doorknob over here is really good. But when I've used this lens on my 4/3 cameras, like my E500 and stuff, but and it's very, very sharp on those cameras. So I can only imagine, on my OM3 and other cameras how this is going to work out. So, I don't see any other questions, and I think that's all I had for the deals. So definitely check those out. Use my affiliate links when you can, and I really appreciate the support there. And I will set up the photo editing live stream. I have to give some thought about the Nick collection, all of that being released, and then I might crank out 3 really fast reviews on a lens and the other things I talked about in terms of making videos this week. But I honestly, I really would rather go out and just shoot. So I've been posting a lot of stuff to my Flickr and Instagram, uh, because that's why I do all this. I like sharing my photography, helping other photographers, with their photography, not so much their gear, not so much their photos, but their gear, right? Showing their settings and things so that they can do the photography that they want to do. Um, but you guys are awesome. I will catch up with you again at least on Friday, if not sooner. So thanks for being with me here today and shopping together and having a little conversation. You guys are awesome. Appreciate the support, and I will see you again soon.